Hey YouTube, Untamed here. So unfortunately, I did not get an invite from Toyota to go see the 6th generation Toyota 4Runner unveiling today down in California. However, as you guys know, there was a lot of leaked photos of it throughout the day today. I'm purposely trying to be respectful of Toyota's embargoment and waiting until official launch time or unveiling time of the 4Runner. So that's why I'm uploading it at this point. But just know, I have not gotten hands-on with the 4Runner. I don't know all the details of it just yet because I'm not down there. So I wanted to just kind of give you my initial thoughts, my initial impressions of what I have seen so far from the leaked images. So I'll throw them up in the video here today and give you my honest opinions of it as we talk through it. Stick with me. So we'll start with my overarching impressions of it, then we'll talk through my likes, and then we'll wrap up this video with my dislikes. So holistically speaking, what does it look like? It looks just like the 2024 Toyota Tacoma, and we expected that to some degree, but this looks even closer to the Tacoma than I thought. Looks dang near identical, really, if you ask me. So a lot of the body lines are shared with the Tacoma, the hood, the front end to some degree. Obviously the 4Runner here has a little bit more of a kind of a handlebar mustache on the front of it, which I don't really know how I feel about that so far, but overall it looks dang near identical to the Tacoma, which is kind of nice because it's kind of like a throwback, right, to the 80s when the 1980s Tacoma and 4Runner were essentially the same exact vehicle. One just had a back end, an SUV back end, which I do think there's a level of appeal to that. I think there's goodness to it. In addition to that, what does it look like? When you look at that side profile, it does kind of scream 4th generation 4Runner, doesn't it? I get that vibe. You tell me what you guys think, but I don't think that's a bad thing. It just definitely screams 4th generation 4Runner. And when you look into the interior and the few shots that I have seen, we are seeing the same exact interior as the Tacoma, a little bit of a cross between that new Tacoma and that new Land Cruiser. Obviously a lot of similarities between those two platforms too. So those are my initial overarching impressions of it. Let's talk through my likes. So based on the photos that I've seen so far, I do really like the wide fender flares. So the same fender flares that we find on that brand new 2024 Toyota Tacoma, especially the TRD Pro and Trail Hunter, right? I think those aggressive body lines really do add to the appeal and overall style of this new 4Runner here. In addition to that, I think the front end, although I'm back and forth on the whole handlebar mustache at this point, but I do think the wide-eyed headlights and the aggressive hood scoop from the TRD Pro, the TRD Sport, I think they do look pretty nice. So I like the front end. It looks menacing in my opinion. In addition to that, I do like the new color options. We get that pale green color that I think looks pretty sleek. In addition to that, we have kind of like a darker quicksand color. It might be quicksand, I don't know, but based on the photos, it seems a little bit darker in my opinion. Also, that Trail Hunter, man, we saw that kind of pale green metallic color. I think it looks exceptional when you combine it with the bronze accents like we find on that Trail Hunter there. The bronze wheels, it just looks really good. And Toyota has done a really good job recently with all new generation Toyotas adding in some heritage cues. You get that classic heritage script for the Toyota font all throughout the vehicle, and I think that looks great, especially there on the front end, of course. I'm also happy to know that they did include the rear window that rolls up and down on the new 4Runner. That is a staple for the 4Runner at this point. It was pretty disappointing when they got rid of that in the brand new Toyota Sequoia. They got rid of that function, unfortunately, and that was a bummer. So I'm happy to see that they still have it within the 4Runner here. Outside of that, other smaller thing that I noticed, but it looked like the TRD Pro does come with some rock sliders OEM. Some rock sliders already on there is what I'm thinking anyway, based on the photos, and that's pretty neat. So right there, ladies and gentlemen, those are my initial first impression likes of it. Let's talk through the dislikes. So initially looking at the new 6th generation 4Runner, I don't love the 4-cylinder that we're gonna get in it, right? I'm not gonna love having a 4-banger in my 4Runner. That doesn't feel right to me, all right? Obviously the performance numbers are better than the previous generation 4-liter V6, and let's face it, right? Let's be honest with each other. That previous generation V6 and the fifth gen right now is pretty lethargic, right? It's pretty gutless, but man, is it reliable. And a lot of people like Toyotas because you can drive them with exceptional peace of mind. That kind of goes out the window when we put a turbocharged 4-cylinder, especially when you strap a hybridized battery pack to it, right? I mean, it just kind of goes out the window, and your ability to work on this vehicle goes out the window with it. You're gonna have to be taking it into Toyota for all your maintenance and services for the most part, right? Especially if something goes wrong with the battery pack. So I do not love the 4-cylinder in a 4Runner. You can beat me up all you want, but I just don't love it and it doesn't sit well with me. I digress, okay? So number one, dislike, the engine. Number two, we are losing simplicity. And personally, as a Toyota enthusiast, I've really grown to appreciate the simplicity within Toyotas. And that 5th generation really is an iconic example of that. You know, timeless design, in and out, and very, very simple. Nothing more than what you need, and that's what makes it so beautiful, right? It is exceptional. Everything's easy to use, analog gauges, simple. The new one, full digital gauge display, a ginormous infotainment, optional infotainment there, you know, protruding up above the dash, blocking your visibility a little bit. There's just some things that just don't sit right with me, right? I mean, there's gonna be a few things that could potentially fail or break on you a lot more within that new generation 4Runner compared to the last one here, all right? So the simplicity has gone out the window. My third thing here, kind of a smaller thing, but I'm gonna throw it out for fun. Just looking at the leaked photos, I have noticed that the back doors, the back door passenger doors, appear to be really tiny. I might just be seeing it wrong. I might be totally off on this, but based on the photos I've seen, it looks really small for the back doors there. So I'm worried that they cut some of the space out back for your rear passengers. I'm worried about that, especially being a family guy. We saw them do it with that new 2024 Toyota Tacoma. They made that back seat even smaller than the previous generation Tacoma, and that just is not a good thing if you have kids, right? So I hope that isn't the case, and I might be wrong. Let me just make that clear, okay? Without having sat in it just yet. So the small back doors. And the final thing, well, beyond the handlebar mustache, I'm kind of 50-50 on that right now, but the final thing would be the price, of course, right? We don't know the pricing exactly just yet. At least maybe the people down in California are aware of it, but I'm not here. But I can confidently say that the new prices are going to be more expensive than the 5th generation that we have currently in 2024. And that alone is reason enough to consider getting a 2024 right now instead. You know, you're gonna spend $50,000 for a 4Runner TRD off-road right now in 2024. I'd imagine you're gonna spend $55,000, $57,000 for that brand new generation TRD off-road. And for the TRD Pro right now, you can spend $56,000 and get it brand new 2024. I'd imagine we're looking at $63,000 or maybe even a little bit more for that new generation 4Runner. Again, a total guess, but that is what makes sense, right? So the price kind of freaks me out. It keeps going up, keeps going up. So those are my initial dislikes. All right, guys, we'll wrap up the video there. Obviously, this is just my initial impressions based on several photos. Haven't driven it, haven't sat in it, and I can't honestly give you a full assessment of it, of course. But I wanted to share this with you as it is brand new. It's pretty exciting to see the new 4Runner here. So let me know what your thoughts are. After having watched probably several other videos at this point, do you like it? Is it something that you're gonna wait for and try to buy yourself? Or are you kind of like me and prefer the 5th generation 4Runner and wanna shoot for that 2024 here before it's gone forever? Let me know your honest thoughts. As always, guys, I do sincerely appreciate you taking the time to watch. If you find any kind of value in my videos, I do really appreciate it if you consider liking and subscribing. Your support means a lot. I definitely appreciate it. Until next time.